So I woke up this morning to seeing a vision that I should share with you. And that is we all come here with gifts that majority of us have not tapped into yet. And we often hear about women's intuition. I think we all have it, men, women, everyone, included. Whatever gender you are, what you think of. I'm not even going to get into that topic, but it's all about intuition. And I was shown in my second near-death experience that when we think of a thought, it starts in the heart chakra and it activates actually more towards the stomach. It comes up and it ignites in our third eye and comes out as thoughts. Now, the thought is a vibration, and as it comes out through your third eye, it actually looks like a movie. It projects out like a movie, but there are also fibers, filaments that float out into the air, and they are different colors. Some were green, some were red, and what I realized was those filaments, those fibers, were thought fibers, and they were the energy of your thoughts. And as they go out into the atmosphere, they literally are seekers, and they seek a corresponding person, place, or thing that is in vibration to the thought that you just had. And it calls that back, and that's how you manifest. So the stronger you can become in the clarity of your thought and the intention, the stronger those fibers are, and the faster you are at manifesting. Now, it also helps you in communication. And what I saw this morning was I needed to share with you a couple of stories, but one specifically today, and that is in communication. So, two stories today. Some of you have heard this first one. When I was 4 years old, I felt very different. I was having out-of-body experiences, and I could see things. I could do all kinds of stuff at 3 years old. And so at 4, I already felt ostracized. I already felt like I was different from everyone else. And I remember going and laying on the grass in northern Quebec. I was brought up on a spy station. We used to spy on the Russians, a military base. It was called Lac Saint-Denis, and it was in the northern Quebec near Saint-Sever, Saint-Agathe, Morne Heights area. So some of you will know that area. Anyways, it was a very small military base. There were only 150 of us living on it. And I remember going on the front yard, and it was a summer's day, and I laid out in the grass, and I just laid out there. And I thought to myself, I wish I had a friend. I really wish I had someone that understood me. And what I didn't realize was with that thought, I sent out these filaments, these fibers, and it went all the way across the world, and it went to Norway. And there was a little girl there, 8 years old. I was 4, and I heard this voice saying, I'll be your friend. It makes me want to cry. She said, I'll be your friend. And my phone's ringing. Isn't that funny? And it's my daughter. I am going to call her back. See, she's hearing my I wish I had a friend, and my daughter phones right away. How beautiful is that? Anyways, this girlfriend, Benta, she came and she said, I'll be your friend. And so we started to communicate with one another, and it got me crying. And she became my friend for a full year. I could speak with her telepathically, and I could hear her, she could hear me. Fast forward like 45 years, and my oldest daughter, was going to India. And as she was leaving out the door, I had a flash that she was going to meet my friend from when I was a little girl, who I hadn't spoken to in decades, and I had lost contact. Anyways, so I went running upstairs. I got a native, I think it was a wristband that I got for her. It was something native art, Aboriginal, because I'm Métis. And so I said, you're going to meet this blonde. She looks a lot like me. And as soon as you meet her, you're going to know it'll be an instant connection. And anyways, long story short, my daughter goes to India, and sure enough, she meets this beautiful blonde that knew her instantly, knew her vibration, and definitely remembered all the conversations. She remembered me as I remembered her. So that was a great example of those fibers, those filaments going out and attracting someone that would come into my world and answer my prayers. And so I was speaking with her yesterday, and we were then talking about my daughter again, the one that brought us together. And a memory came about those fibers and filaments yet again. And I realized that, in times of need, in times of sorrow, you can send out help requests, and people can hear it around the world, especially mother and children relationship, mother and child relationship. So the story on this one is very quick in that it taught me that the power that you have as a parent in protecting your child. I had heard years ago, when I was 18 years old, I went to a psychic. Her name was Elizabeth, and she was the one that really got me on my path, my spiritual path. And she told me of a story that she saved her daughter when her daughter was 18 and was suicidal and was about to jump off a 20-story balcony. And she immediately sent a white light around her daughter and protected her, put that white light around in a clockwise formation. If this is a mirrored image, I'm not too sure, but it was clockwise. So sent that white light around her and protected her, and sure enough, she didn't jump off. And so I had an experience like that where my daughter was skiing with her father and stepmother, and they were in Whistler, I believe it was. So it was about an 18-hour drive from me. And I didn't know that she was off skiing. So anyways, she was newer to skiing, and she was about 14, I'd say 13, 14 years old, younger. And anyways, they're going down a hill. A stepmom is beside her, and she's over here. And all of a sudden, there were trees in the center, and she didn't want to hit the tree because she had hit the tree before and broke her nose. So she was like, tree's coming, quick. And so she went to the right, and her stepmother went to the left. Her stepmother went down towards a village, and what my oldest daughter didn't understand at the time was this road was a service road, and it went down the backside of the mountain and all the way down. If she followed it, it would have gone all the way down to the main highway and bypassed the mountain, the ski hill completely. So now she's on the back service road, and it's bumpy, and she realizes, I'm in trouble. And so she stops, but she is so far gone at this point from the place that enters back into the ski hill. And so she takes her skis off and realizes she's got to hike back up. But it is about minus 30 degrees, and she's not dressed properly, as most teens when they're skiing. You're sweating and you take clothes off, and so she's starting to get chilled. A truck comes along, and it's two young guys in it in their 20s, but they're creepy. And she thinks, oh no. And so they stop and offer her a ride back, and her instincts, her intuition says, don't get in that truck. You'll never see anyone again. And so she listens to that little voice inside and says, no thanks. So they continue up the mountain. She's hiking up the mountain, and now she's getting exhausted. And she's getting so weak, so she falls down towards the side of the road, and she cuddles up and is shaking, freezing to death. And last ditch effort, she writes in the snow, I love you, Mom. Because she thinks that she's not going to see anyone again, right? And she writes, I heart you, Mom. And she shared with me later that she did that because she knew she was going to die on the side of the road and freeze to death. And she wanted me to know that she and I had this beautiful connection. Well, the moment that she wrote, I love you, Mom, she had that thought of, I'm in trouble. I need help. And I heard her 18 hours away. God, I'm getting so emotional today. So I sent a light around her. I remember sitting up and going, oh my God, my kid's in trouble. Where is she? And I could just see and feel that she was in dire strait. I put a light around her, just like my psychic friend had done many years, decades prior. And I prayed for God and Jesus to be by her side. I prayed that she would have the warmth. I pictured hugging her, and I pictured her coming home to me. That's the key. I saw our outcome. I pictured that she was fine. She came home and she told me about the story, right? I pictured her in my arms and I was hugging her, and I felt the warmth of my body with her body. And at that moment, I sent that image, and I trusted that she was going to be all right. She was going to come home. So as she tells the story, she was starting to fall asleep, and she had the loving thought towards me, and it was as if a miracle happened. She felt warmth come around her, all over her, and it was as if a beautiful voice whispered in her ear and said, "Get up. You have to make it up. Do not fall asleep. Get up." And she found the strength to get up. Those two guys came back down the hill, offered her a ride again. She said no. And she was determined because she had a feeling that they would come back one more time and probably not ask her. They would do something else. So that gave her the impetus, the determination to walk as fast as she could. And she marched up with her ski equipment over her shoulder, and she marched up the hill and was able to get to that junction where she was able to walk all the way through, get her skis on, go down the hill, and everyone was sitting having hot chocolate and après-ski, and she was able to come to the lodge and tell everyone the ordeal that she had and how she nearly passed away. And I often think about, well, I shouldn't say often. It came as a memory this morning that I had to share. And obviously it's still emotional because I almost lost her. And I knew at that moment that there was that risk. But we all have intuition. We all have this ability. And I'm sure all of us have many stories like this, at least one, where we listened to our intuition and it probably either saved our own lives or our own life or someone else close to us. So my invite for you today is to focus on your intuition. Listen to it more. Even if it sounds crazy, even if it sounds like, oh, I don't know about that one. Listen to your intuition, because this is your spirit speaking to you. This is your higher self. This is the God source energy. It's speaking with you. And understand that your thoughts are powerful. So if you're having stinking thinking thoughts, clear those up. Put them in a ball, throw them into the cosmic garbage can, and give them up to Creator, where they'll be transformed into love and joy and everything beautiful. And instead, replace them with a powerful thought that will empower you and embrace all that is good in your life. And so it is. I wish upon you on this beautiful day that you will step into your light, step into who you truly are, and breathe and understand that you are powerful, that you are a master manifester, and that you can create whatever it is you desire. Become conscious of the thoughts that you have and how they begin in your stomach or your heart, and as they ignite, they go to your third eye and they come out almost like a cone-shaped energy, and the movie is playing in front of you, and that movie is then sending out filaments. So what do you want to send out to the world? Do you want to attract a partner? Do you want to attract, financial wealth? Do you want to attract world peace? Do you want to attract that this world, this human experiment will come to a beautiful conclusion and step into the next level of consciousness that is beautiful, bright, and peaceful. You know, humanity, humankind, it's our namesake. Kindness, right? So let's all focus today on the kindness that lives within. And so it is. Much love to everyone. We'll chat with you soon. Thank you for listening. And please share, please like, please do all of hit the notification button so you'll hear the next one that comes through. Okay? Whenever an insight comes, I get to share with you.